Hey everyone, Spider-Man 1991 here with my reviews for today, July 22nd. I got a new 4 titles that I like. Well, one of them was just because of Blackest Night, but still, great titles. The first title, my only Marvel comic, Amazing Spider-Man. This isn't just any issue, it's Spider-Man 600. That's right, the 600th issue. This is awesome. Yeah, it's pretty thick. Because, 100 issues, they're really big. Okay, well, first of all, the story starts off with, Doc Ock with one of our favorite villains, Dr. Octopus. He's getting a checkup. Why? Well, it's mostly because, he's experiencing brain damage from, let's face it, all the fights with not just Spider-Man, but Captain America, Hammerhead, Daredevil, and Sandman. It's gotten to him, and they say that he only has at least a year or 18 months to live. But what really has people going is the wedding of Aunt May and the father of J. Jonah Jameson. Alright, so the scene opens up with something everyone loves, a good old bar fight. And it's between Spider-Man and his lovable ally, and one of the favorite allies we like seeing him with, Daredevil. They're pretty much taking down the supervillain's bar, and eventually it becomes revealed. Okay, I'm just going to try to, get to the camera. Alright, so pretty much they fight, and then eventually it leads to, but then they break it up, the cops show up, except they can't exactly get them since the villains are gone, but then they ask the bartender if he has a liquor license, and, that's pretty much what happened. Alright, and Spidey does seem to cheers for a bit, where everybody knows your name. Yeah, it just sucks singing. He talks about Daredevil, about telling him his identity, about, Spidey telling Daredevil who he's Peter Parker, but Daredevil says not to, because something's keeping his extra senses from figuring it out, though, and that he should keep it that way, and that the less people who know, the better. Meanwhile, at Frontline, Peter Parker sells some pics of the bar bust, and he mentions that he's running low on web fluid, and then he does what most New Yorkers do, is take the subway over to his aunt's rehearsal dinner, but as usual, Parker arrives late. Talk with Aunt May, then we cut to Dr. Octopus, once again, sending a bunch of probes to go check out New York and stuff. He finds some information about Spider-Man and Aunt May getting married, but he just thinks it's irrelevant. Then he's with Aunt May, Jonah Sr., and Anna Watson about planning the wedding, and then all of a sudden everything goes down, everything's shut down and stuff, everything's going wrong with the wedding, and Jonah Sr. thinks it's JJJ, but although I think maybe it was, I don't know, I kind of thought it was because of Octopus. Then May's at the cemetery talking to Uncle Ben, spiritually, and Peter's trying to ask out his friend Carly Cooper to the wedding because he needs a date. Who wouldn't want to go to a date by themselves, otherwise singles table. Then Peter's trying to get to Jonah Sr.'s apartment to figure out what's wrong, but then still keeps happening. This blows up, and a lamppost goes on fire, and then eventually he thinks that the entire city's out to get him. He suspects Electro, Tinker, and Hydro Man, and he says that this is just because I shut down their bar, isn't it? Good reason, but then eventually Dr. Octopus broadcasts himself with an image of what he used to look like on cell phones, Times Square, everywhere. And he says he has control of every single electronic device in Manhattan. Then, again, blows up in Spidey's face, and then all this stuff keeps happening around him. And then he saves the window washer, and if you've seen Family Guy, you know that Spider-Man appeared a couple of times, and you can't say it, but I love how they put worked that line into this thing, where he saves someone and he just says, everyone gets one. I love that line. Then the Avengers show up, saying that they'll take care of the crowd control because everything keeps blowing up wherever Spider-Man is. I don't think Ock's doing that intentionally. I think it's a subconscious because he still hates Spider-Man. Wants to get Spider-Man. Then he goes to the Fantastic Four, and he gets a call from Carly. She tracked Doc Ock, and then he asks Human Torch to help him. And he says that I need to save some girls, and Johnny's okay with it because he knows the kind of girls Peter hangs out with. And we then cut to the real form of Dr. Octopus. He's a human vegetable run by machines. Much like that. Canon, good reference. Then, eventually they find Jonah Sr. and Carly and Nora. They're tied up using, and they're stuck using, Mark 1, what appear to be old versions of Octopus's arms. And then they save him. Spidey decides to go after Octopus. And then Octobot's attacked, and then he sees the 8 limbs, and he's like, wait, 10 arms, 2 legs, should I call you Dr. Squid now? Quiet! Okay, and then he fights some more, and then great artwork, and then Spider-Man finds Doc's helmet, and then he tries to transmit a stronger brainwave pattern which can disrupt Ock's control, and surprisingly, because everyone knows, because of the whole secret identity thing, Peter's portrayed himself as a sarcastic idiot. He is Spider-Man, but really he's a genius, and bam, he gets control over the city again. Yay! And he helps out with Aunt May's, make sure everything's straight with Aunt May's wedding. Then again, all that's left is the Octobots, which are, that are on a different frequency, and they start attacking Spider-Man. Torch blows them up. But Oct escapes, saying that he'll be back soon, that he needs to do something great and terrible before he dies. Then they're talking about how Pete should have kept his identity safe, and he's downloaded his brain powers on every machine in the city. Reed says he's deleted it, so that's good. Then Pete takes his roommate to the wedding. Sorry, I feel like Pete's in high school. And eventually takes his roommate Michelle Gonzalez to the dance. We get C. Flash Thompson again, Betty Brant. And then there's a little heart-to-heart with Aunt May and Peter, and he calls her mom, which is sweet. And Jonah's I don't want to say minister because, he's the last guy I would ever call a minister. So, fill in the blank. They say their vows, and they kiss, and then I was part with Peter. He says, hey JJ, now that we're related, can I borrow $50? Like, the Peter Parker we know. Then the bouquet is thrown, and guess who returns? Mary Jane! Yeah, things just got interesting. Dr. Octopus has returned, Mary Jane has returned, and all that's left in this issue is just some different fake covers and some funny stories. Some funny, but you know what I mean. An Uncle Ben story. Then some kids saying that they were Spider-Man, and Aunt May's story about dealing with Mary and Jonah, and one with the Spider-Mobile. And then the museum has the Smithsonian has included a new exhibit, the Spider-Mobile, and 10 points to whoever gets the reference of the tour guide. Meanwhile, and this is my favorite fake cover, Amazing Spider-Man and cease and desist. A note from legal saying don't even think about running this. The team up you demanded by the guys who can never do it. So yeah, again, some more stories, foreshadowing, if you're a bit, I would recommend this to Amazing Spider-Man fans everywhere. Get 600, it's worth about $5, but it's worth it. Okay? I'm running low on time, so I'm going to stop here, and I'll do my DC portion, okay? So, see you soon.